Did I ever tell you the story of Darth Johnny Somali the Unwise? No, and you don't care, you say? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway, because it's not a story the internet would bother telling you. So it's been a long while since I've heard the name Johnny Somali. I think it's been about 10 months since he was convicted in South Korea for being an idiot. And if you don't know who he is, I'm glad you do, but too bad for you, I'm about to tell you. So, he is a nuisance streamer that was doing a lot of really disgusting and awful behavior towards people, to the point where people would beat him up because that's how annoying he was. He would go to countries that usually are more passive, like Japan. Somehow it took a long while for him to get kicked out of there, but he did eventually. So he kept going different places to be a nuisance, and fortunately for him, South Korea was the end game, and they don't really deal with that crap. They said, no, we're not going to give you a slap on the wrist, we're just going to slap you. And they did. Fast forward to today, stutter, I know. And he has been found guilty of his charges, which I will read momentarily. And it wasn't for all the other charges which he did in all those other countries. It was for what he did in South Korea, which was, he was even in Thailand too. I forgot about that. Again, this guy was everywhere, unfortunately. And no one remembers him, which is probably a good sign that even he gets his comeuppance. Johnny Somali was arrested in South Korea and was charged with multiple crimes. Chief among them was public nuisance, which has become a widespread problem with IRL streamers. Somali was also accused of obstruction of business and distribution of illegal or falsified content. There were also allegations that the streamer has made no content using AI. I believe he was using like deep fakes of people he didn't like and would insert himself in it. He only wishes he could be as attractive as those people he tried to make fun of with his goofy ass smile. But fast forward now, it was argued that Johnny Somali constantly broke the law and his actions weren't accidental. Authorities also alleged that the streamer carried out his outrageous actions to get views on his live streams. Some of his questionable actions include kissing and twerking on the Statue of Peace and singing the North Korean national anthem. The statue depicts World War II slaves, and Johnny Somali later apologized, stating that he didn't understand the significance of the statue, but he did it anyway. So Johnny Somali also claimed innocence and even posted on X that he is the Odo Rambier of South Korea, whoever that is. The streamer alleged he was a political prisoner wrongfully and falsely accused and made into a scapegoat. His statements didn't help, as a South Korean court has now convicted him on multiple counts, which he was found guilty. Prosecutors demanded a 3-year prison term for Johnny Somali, but the verdict was lighter than they would have wanted. A South Korean court stated that the defendant repeatedly committed crimes against unspecified members of the public to generate profit via YouTube and distributed the content in disregard of Korean law. The court sentenced him to 6 months of prison. The court sentenced him to 6 months of prison labor and 20 days of detention after convicting him on all charges. Streamer is also barred from working at an institution that serves minors or people with disabilities for 5 years. He will also have to register as a no offender for the same duration. So it kind of feels like he still kind of got a slap on the wrist, but who knows, maybe this will change it for the better. People like him, though, they really don't learn. So we'll see what happens if he somehow does manage to crawl even from this hole. But yeah, I think that's the end of Johnny Somali. Not that many people probably care at this point, but yeah, I can't even think of anything uplifting to say about him. That's how much of a nuisance he was. But yeah, I think that's about it. Take care.